Yeah, asanteni, karibuni tena. Thank you so much for honoring the invitation. The forum, it's about, the project is about teenage moms. They may not be necessarily teenage mothers now, but they got the kids when they were teenage moms, where we are going to talk about challenges they faced or they are facing, so that the main purpose for this program is to try and reduce teenage pregnancies, because we all know that teenagers are still kids, carrying kids, which they are not yet ready to be parents. So how can we best reduce and the ones who already have the kids, how can we best try to help them if they have financial, maybe they dropped out of school, they couldn't go to school, college, school fees, and how best can we do it? So that is the major topic for the event. I will introduce myself, and then we will all introduce ourselves so that we can at least be familiar with each other. My name is Taplin Mbakwe. I am a psychologist by profession, and I love working with kids. It has always been my passion. So, and this is what led to me thinking about starting this organization. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's such a joy to meet all of you. I am following the same steps as Taplin, because it was still through the psychology that we were able to meet. So I am also a counseling psychologist. I journey with people to help them to identify their fullest potentials. And it is a joy that we are going to be here and spend the day together. I believe it's going to be a very interactive session. Thank you.
Okay, nice to meet you all. I'm Jacinta Achiem. I'm doing my certificate in supply chain in Kabete. Yeah, nice to meet you all.
Hi, I'm Faith Wanjiru. I was invited here and I'm grateful. I'm also a student at Kabete.
Hello everyone, I'm Grace Rivera and I'm happy to be here, and being part of this makes me happy because we are raising an issue which is very vital here in this society, and being part of this makes me happy. And I'm also a student at Kabete National Polytechnic doing certificate in supply chain management. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm Pastor Titus Mutia. I'm a pastor by call, and also I'm a trainer, teacher, working with children and youth ministry, empowering those who are working with children and young people. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Joanne. I'm a consultant with Smart Scale Consulting. We deal with matters to do with finance, budgeting, financial inclusion, and we are really happy to be part of this good initiative. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm not a teen mamas. My name is Moses. I'm just an ally and a supporter of this good program, and I'm happy that Tapu and the team have come up with this kind of initiative, and it will really go a long way in boosting. I'm currently a logistics coordinator, and I'm also a teacher by profession, so I feel at home here. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Ruth Wanjiro. I'm a teen mama.
I work at Smart Scale Consulting, and I teach financial management. And also, my target is youth and students at the same time, so that when they are going to financial, they have tips on how to manage their resources.
So now this second session, we are going to have a discussion. It's going to be a talk show. Everybody can contribute. Anybody can contribute. And I have some questions that we can ask ourselves before we move to how we can tackle those challenges. So the question now is, what are some of the challenges that teenage moms are facing? And what also do you think that how did they get there? Because sometimes it's like maybe they were not informed, they didn't know. Because I've heard some stories about there are some teenagers, they didn't even know they're pregnant. They don't know anything. So we can try to find out what are the challenges. How did they get that? First of all, like how did they? What led them to them becoming pregnant? Because I know of someone who, like, she was 9 months pregnant, but she didn't know. Yeah, because for her, she just didn't know, and she was being asked. She just thought she was eating too much and all that, which for now you might think that she should have known, but no, she did not know. So, what are some of the challenges? So the floor is for everybody.
So I can say out of experience, ile challenge kubwa inakuanga una clue. Ujui unafaa kuhandulaje mtoto, to the way you should inform your parents, to your partner ataichukuliaje. Unaona, unanga clue. Like for me, nilijua I'm pregnant after 3 months. Na nilikuwa shule. I was in form 4. So nilikuwa confused at first. Just juu niambie nani kwanza. First of all, najua mama atareact. Chali yangu pia sijui ataichukuliaje, sijui kanitaachwa, you know. So uko in such a trauma and ujui what's the way forward. Yeah.
So sorry to ask, what age was that? If you're going.
I was 18.
18 years. Okay.
Yeah. I was 18 years. Na mwenye alinipea ball alikuwa 24 at that time. Yeah. So mimi, I think nilifanya tu kiroju. Since I had other challenges, mimi niliface tu mother na nikamwambia mimi niko tu na nataka kusonga, nataka kwenda kukana chali yangu. But from there, I think ndo aliona ni serious. But then we had a lot of challenges, mimi na yeye kwa familia. I think that is what led me to mikono ya mwanaume, cha niseme hivyo. Yeah. So nilimface tu nikamwambia. Na kutoka hapo sasa nikaanza kuchukulia safari ya uzazi sasa. Yeah. But it's traumatizing first.
Thank you so much. Utapitisha.
I just kuchangia, and I believe since all of us are advocates of teen mamas, nafikiri also kuna vyenye kuna kuwaga na stigma kiasi. There is a stigma that baby teen mamas, because I've had cases whereby some clients wanakam kwangu wananishow ati they were told don't associate with, yeah, and yet I think it's so noble to choose life. Yeah, because there's such a pressure ati umepata ball ati unaiflash. So that's so common. Lakini you who chooses life kuna kuwaga na stigma. So I think that's a huge challenge. I don't know. What do you think? Anybody mwenye anataka kuchangia?
Kwanza nakwambia nimepata ball. You think of I'm in a trap. That's the first thing. Unasema hiyo tutatoa. You just think sasa ni responsibility anzia wapi? By the time you accept, kwanza mkae na yeye unaanza kujiuliza sasa hii trap sasa sikuwa nimepanga, because sometimes you don't even plan. You just get yourselves into some things that ulianza tu kumuona, lakini some things you had not planned of staying together. So it's also a challenge for a man to accept, especially if you had not gone to a church to kind of have a proper wedding or a proper engagement. And remember, sisi wote tunajaribu. si ndio? So there is no ati niko na skills, you just try and move. Life has no kind of training atutapata huyu. So it's also a challenging for men, and I know ladies are the one who are hit hard because sengine unamwambia iliponyoka tu, wewe jipange, ama unaenda una mute simu. So I think that's what
Nimeona kuna wenye wanazaa watoto ako class 7 na kuna mimba. Najua sasa hapo hata jua vile anaweza carry out this child, vile atamvalisha pampa ajui. Itapata pia ni challenge kwa niseme ako na mamake na babake. Babake nimeona kaa babake anampiga, mbona ulipata hii mimba at that age? Unapigwa na uko na mimba pia at that age. Uko na mimba lakini unarushwa nje at that age, hauna food. Ili lead aende kwa mwanaume at class 7.
Hi. I think the other challenge is self-disappointment. This is our reasoning. If I was doing this thing, you know the thing I'm talking about, due to peer pressure, or I'm a teen, I'm not making good decisions. I'm either doing it for fun, peer pressure, to prove a point. Then I end up being pregnant, something that I had not planned for. Nilikuwa nimeplan, I go to school, I become a nurse, then it happens. So itakufanya uko self-disappointed and pia italwa self-esteem yako. I'm trying to put myself in their shoe and also trying to answer it as per someone I know. It's not something that you had planned for. It may happen too, and you have to embrace the situation. Depends on how you're going to embrace it. So self-disappointment is also a challenge.
Hi everyone. So on my side, I'm not talking about the challenge, but I'm talking about what leads to pregnancy. So I can say like affection. These people, the teen mom, like they lack affection. You can find that in their family, this girl, it looks like no one loves her. Like, so when he finds a man who's he's luring her with some jewelries, like he's giving her affection, the man is showing the girl that he loves her. So obviously this girl will fall into the trap, saying that in my family no one loves me. Like maybe she sees as if I'm just a burden. So when she finds a person that loves him, obviously she'll follow that trap. So maybe let's say the man doesn't love her, she wants something from her. Basically, maybe the man knows that this girl is a virgin, or maybe she's outdated. She doesn't know that much, you see. So maybe when the girl falls into that trap and maybe she ends up being pregnant, so that the challenge comes from there. So we can see that these ladies, when they find affection, that's the trap. Then yeah, I hope you're getting me.
Mi ndakuchallenge nikwambie si trap. Ni unajua trap ni ile mtu it's like, should I call it manipulate? Yeah, umemanipulatiwa ndio uendane na njia fulani, nacheki. But ni umejipeleka. So you can't call it as such as a trap, but utasema it's just a result out of the both of you mistake ya nyinyi wote wawili. Unaona? It's just a result but not a trap. Hujaingia kwa trap yoyote. Unaona? Ni wewe umejipeleka. But there is a reason as to why umejipeleka. You had a point, but me I will discourage you kuiput as a trap. Juu unaona ukisema ni trap, it's like shida inaangukia mtu mmoja. Like Chalindi amekunini, but mi usema hata mi ushangaa hii time yenye Chali anashikangwa ati juu ameshikana na maybe minor, unaona. But hawa sio wanasahau umdemde alijipeleka, unaona. So me I can tell you inakwanga decision ya nyinyi watu wawili, sawa? Mi nimekatiwa, nimeingia box, you had a chance of kukataa, si ndio?
Hiyo unasema that ujui kwa nini Charlie anaweza kushikwa kwa maana ati ni minor. That is why kuna minor and adults, because a minor hafikiri vizuri sana, mind yake haija develop very good. That is why it's easier for an adult hata ingishwe jela, we ulijua nini unafanya, but mdogo below 18 years, teenagers, it's not easy because bado their mental mind yao is still growing, and they generally inakuanga ni kama maturity inafika, some countries 19 years, some countries 18 years depending. So yeah, that is why ukipatikana na minor unaambiwa wewe unaekwa ndani, yeah, hata kama ilikuwa consent.
I just want to add on to something, to what Grace said, from somebody else's experience. There's a house help I had for the last 4 years, and when she came to my place, she was suicidal, but she didn't tell me outrightly sayo. Aliniambia after a couple of months, vile tumekaa tumezoeana, akaona anaweza kuwa comfortable, so she would like randomly just throw things at me, but that was her way of like letting things out. And when I discovered there was trauma, nikamsikiza. So she told me when she was, I think 17, she's from Cumberland, and kwa kuna poverty. So she got employed at a very young age, and she used to work in a flower farm, uko Kakuzi, hizo sides. So she was telling me she was born again, and in those places where they used to stay, you're paired with a partner, mnapewa nyumba. So she's born again. Her roommate is not born again, ni msanapenda tu raha. So ikafika point, roommate wake amepangana na wase nje, lazima mumtoe virginity. So she was drugged. The roommate cooked food, akadrag. The lady woke up the next day, anasikia tu mwili imechoka. That is actually the word she was telling me now with it. Alikuwa anasikia mwili imechoka. She could feel something was off, but couldn't tell what. Baadaye a couple of months later, ndio anasikia kwa plantations wakiwa job, watu wanamwangalia wanacheka. Si ndio akajua she was raped, but she didn't know by who. She went back home. Because you see now she's traumatized, she's in shock, you don't even know what to do. And it's a couple of months after. Akaenda home. The parents were not very welcoming. In fact, it was very hostile for her. She went back to the same plantation. So akakaa huko, akapata mtoi. And then after that was not the first child. In fact, unfortunately for her, she has 2 kids. And both kids were as a result of rape. Yeah. Different people. She can't even, nikuwa namuuliza so after these things happened, were you able to go and find out babo mtoto ni nani? Alisema kuwaijua. Ni ile tu kuna rumors, but you don't know. So she was actually very traumatized, and I think in a case like that, it was a trap. She was not willing, and things just got out of hand. And I think the second one could have been avoided if the family was more supportive, because you see now they were judging her wakifikiria yeye ndiye alijipeleka ama it is a consequence of her behavior. Well, it was not. Yeah.
Sometimes members of the society can become a bit hard on somebody who has gone through such. So it's a matter of giving them, or rather engaging members of the society to understand and to how this child can navigate. I'm calling the person child because he's under 18, or is to navigate through after going through or getting pregnant. The other thing is also the issue to do with the parents. Parents are different and they approach issues differently. And if these parents are well informed how to parent their children and be prepared for any eventuality, to help this young person to walk a journey after finding himself or herself in such a situation. The other thing also, there's kind of gap which is widening. Parents and children have realized there's a kind of gap. The parents don't understand their children, and at the same time, children also having challenge even to have a chat with their parents. So how can we narrow the gap? So for these parents to have a close relationship with their children, and being in a digital world, or you find that parents are far. So the language of the young people also, they don't understand. So there's a problem where we can find a way of helping, giving a help where we can for our teens, if they find themselves to be in a safe avenue of managing. And also they have a future. They have their potential, they have a future. They can become instrumental in the society despite of what they have gone through. That's what I wanted to contribute.
Another challenge is dreams. As a result of teenage pregnancy or early moms, dreams are not met, not to all teenage moms, but to most. Yeah, to most. Because if I got pregnant while I was in school, niache shule, nile, and I start focusing on my baby. Because now I have a +1 in my life. And unaweza pata hiyo period ya me dealing with my baby, tujuane mimi na mtoto, ni lose track ya life. Nikuwe more like, okay, I'll have to change what was there. Dream yangu ilikuwa nikuwe nurse. I'll have to change something that I know it will favor both me and my baby. So pia inaleta distorts za dreams na some confusion hapo katikati na your dreams and what you want to be. But if you're a teenage mom, your family took the news of you being pregnant wakaichukulia positively, and they're like, it's okay, it has happened, tunaweza kukusaidia, you can continue pursuing your dreams. But kama especially for the families wenye wako chini, it's quite hard. Hadi mzazi mwenyewe atashindwa atakusaidia aje. Yeah.
Okay, hapa kwa poverty naweza ongea tena kidogo juu sometimes our parents wanakuanga challenge to teen moms. Utapata ushago mama anakuambia your father is not providing, go and sleep with somebody so that you can get money, we get food. So hiyo itatuma msichana aende have that thing, na after that atapata mimba. After kupata hiyo mimba, huyo mtu atapotea, hayuko. Maybe anakuambia enda leo uende na huyu, leo uende na huyu. Hiyo tena itakuwa challenge for the young moms.
Now, I would like us to talk about, I wanted to, we can touch a little bit, sijasikia sana about teenage dads. I don't know if there are, I'm just assuming, but it's not good to assume. Yes, so maybe if someone has, mimi sijasikia, if I'm a teenage mom, I got pregnant, and my boyfriend, because we always have this perception ataniruka. But what if hatamruka? Then what? How does has anybody ever heard of a teenage dad and all that? Anybody?
Yeah, of course, if there's a teenage mom, there's a teenage dad, especially if both of you are teenagers and you're doing it for fun or pressure or blah, blah, blah. And I think the greatest fear for them, mi sijui, but it should be a fear for them. Mtoto wangu kweli, we're both teenagers. Okay, I don't know how it sounds, but kama nyinyi ni wale watu wa, let's think of high school. Kuna funky, kuna sijui entertainment or sijui math contest umekuja, and that's when most things happen. Schools, by the schools they don't know these things happen, but we are teenagers, mnajonanga werevu kuliko walimu, so it will happen. And I think kitu inaweza sumbua teenage dad ni, is a kid really mine? Mimi nakujua unapenda raha, nilikuwa na wewe, how sure am I after nimemalizana na wewe during math contest ukwenda music contest and you did something else and it happened, unaniletea mzigo yenye sio yangu. And again from a friend, though them they're okay, mimi sijui how they're okay with it, but they're okay. Mbogi kumchocha bla bla bla, asa utakuwa baba, you'll be going sijui what. But again when you sit alone as a guy, unakumbuka wamenipea hii chocha yote, then I'll be all alone dealing with this girl. We are both teenagers. Mimi mwenyewe labda na providewa na mzazi, how am I going to start providing for you and your baby? So that's also a challenge to them. Na utapata most of them end up to crime. What I end up to, some of them will do drug trafficking, stealing, but I think say the major deal yenye mimi naonanga kani crime saizi kwa sisi youths ni the weed stuff. Utapata mtu ashakuwa pedi juu ako na mtoi pale, na lazima ashughulikie mama na mtoi wake. Yeah, so yeah, they are teenagers, and na pia as much as girl child pia nakapitia, pia boy child mwenye ako into okay sawa mtu amekuja let's do this together, pia yeye itamsumbua. But pia kuna wale like ime happen hivyo, sorry. Yeah,
80% ya majenzi machali ni kuruka ball. Acha sasa nikwambia swali moja niliulizwa after nilipata ball ya pili. Kwa nini umekubali? Sasa unashinda, so mtu anakuuliza kwa nini umekubali kushika ball ya pili, and I'm like si tulikuwa pamoja ama was I alone in this? Unaona? Na by the way watu wangu wote wawili ni wabuda mmoja, but niliachwa nikiwa na ball huyo wa pili. Yeah, wa kwanza tuli struggle juu ilikuwa hakukata ya kwanza, juu ilikuwa yote ya COVID, tuli struggle kidogo, but when nilishika ya pili naambiwa kanyaga. But naweza sema 80% ya machali wengi wao wadogo, juu unajua sasa hiyo ndio mtu ako harakati yake ya happy, hiyo ndio time mse anataka kuexplore, anataka kuexplore, wengi wao ukataa. Ni ngumu upate mwenye anakubali, but ukipata shukuru God. Yeah.
Maybe from a boy child. And from experience also, and also from friends, especially after campus. All my peer, I can say same age, after campus, wenye wote walipata watoi wote they didn't end up marrying those girls, but walipata watoi. Reason being, maisha ilikuwa hard after that. Some of them were not employed. Wengine kama sasa hiyo niko na about 24 years. Mimi niko na one policy. Hakuna mambo ya mtoi mpaka nizile nda settle uko late 30s. Because ndio umeanza kazi, nataka kuwa next week Nakuru, hiyo nyingine ni kwa sijui nini safari rari, umeelewa? Na staki responsibility. So unajua kisha para mtoi, you cannot do some things. Unaambiwa lazima ukae home na mtoto. Sasa unaona hiyo shughuli. Sasa hiyo shughuli inakuwa ngumu because my friends wako wapi? Wako Kanivo usiku. Ako Nakuru, ako Kuiva. Sasa unaona kama boy child, unaambia tu dem awe jipange kwanza. Jipange. Yes. Yeah. Naomba jipange mpaka nijisettle. But ukisettle. Okay.
if you really fear responsibility, why then do it? Okay, ni sawa. Okay, sijakata there is last blah 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 blah, but ukikaa chini wewe unajijua vizuri, unaogopa responsibility, si uvumilie tu. Okay, it's not easy, but why don't you just do it? Na kama okay you did it and it can resolve kwa mtoi, see, you just accept it. Wewe ndio umejituma huko, ulikuwa unajua unaogopa responsibility, ime happen. And what about the girl child? You know, I'm like, what about her?
Most of the time, especially in high school na campus, ni just impression. Udem amekaa poa, lakini after ameanza maisha utapata mtu amebeat. Umeelewa? Maybe unaona, kwa sababu alikuwa anapata pocket money, baada akianza kujitafutia unaona amebeat. Sasa unaona so unaona especially you see like when tulimaliza nao campus, ukiangalia age yenye tuko utapata ako 30s huko late 30s, unaona wewe umeshazeeka basically. And at the same time when nilimaliza campus I could not settle. Umeelewa? But I had that impression as budem ni poa nini, umeelewa? Anakupikia unasema hey. Since we are discussing, umeenda kwa boy ukapata box ya condom ile kabisa, si utasema hapa ni kichinjio? Si ni ukweli? Ama ukuje upate condom moja haiko, sisi na kwa tatu ukute moja haiko. Si tunaongea? Si ndio? Wewe nimekuuliza, ukipata ile carton, nimeenda kwa super nimechukua ile kubwa. So but in most cases boy child sayo ananga ile confidence kwenda kuitisha condom kwa chemist. Kwanza atiende akute mama pale nasema wewe wanaenda, lakini hata kujua kuvaa maybe sometimes nani usoma na saa hiyo unajua, saa hiyo emotions zimeenda juu sana, saa amechemuka.
I feel like I'm burning with issue ya ignorance.
Hata high school you are not taught. Campus there is no ati unaenda unafundishwa hivi ndio kiwango, but you just try.
But I think campus iko kuna hizo training sijui
mostly our training.
Nani unaenda
Remember nyinyi mna grow up in a different time kabisa. Hata walimu hiyo
So it's a sensitive question. To be sincere, juu nyinyi wawili mmetoa hiyo idea. In case chali yako sasa hii mwende mnataka kwenda kumate, utajua kuvalisha chali yako condom? Do you know, mimi nikifunza juu nimekwambia I was in dreams, we were advising them badilisha chali condom because uchali anza kucheza, unaona, si ni wewe uko at risk. So tulikuwa tuna advise them ndio badilishe chali condom. Juu mimi ndakwambia kama mimi ndio chali sasa, nimekwambia mimi babe nishavaa, unaona, na nimetoboa. Do you know kuna venye anaweza vaa itoboke ama atoboe yeye mwenyewe tu. Tena hata leave that aside, to be sincere, hivi tu wenye tuko si hapa kuna mtoto, si ndio? Do you know sitaingia hivi kwa nyumba ndio chali yangu tuanze kunegotiate babe by the load of condom. To be sincere, si ndio? After msha have sex, let's call the spade a spade. Ndo mtaulizana na by the way atukutumia ama mnaulizana tumedu, unaona, sasa ndo mnaulizana tumedu Joy, to be sincere manze, usiseme story ya kuabstain ama nini. Unaona, ndio maana hizi lessons size mekam. Unaona, ile ukuwe na confidence in whatever decision you want to make. Unaona, na tusikuwe shy in anything. Sai yes, mi naweza simama kwa chalini mwambie be there to do kama hakuna protection. Unaona, lakini ni ile kuna ile yenye wewe tushajikuta. Unaona, ili happen. So after then sasa ndio utarealize manze tumemess. Lakini unaona hiyo ya ati why do it kama utaki responsibility, hiyo iko kwa akili. After mshamaliza ndio utaja haya, ndio ina reset. So tuseme tu ni mistake, but sasa ndio tunafunzwa before you do this mistake, the precautions.
I think for teen dads it's interesting because the times zenye watu wanaishi sahii ni tofauti na vile nilikuwa nasema ya kina Sam, because saizi watu wanaona akina, maybe just to quote Sarah, akina wa Jesus family, hizi ma YouTube hao wote ati akina Rapudo, unasema nataka kuwa kama hao, lakini saizo mkiwatch hizo vitu na watch ali yako alikuwa anakuambia si tunaweza kuwa kama hawa. Lakini after the fact ndo unajua this is not a YouTube channel. This is channel ni reality. Then also I think peer circumstances, as she said, play a big factor. For example, mtu wako ushago most likely amelelewa ushago kwa village. You know, there's that communityness. So probably hata labda the teen dad mwenye amekupatia mtu hii ni mtu wa hapo boma ya next. Ama hata mtu wa chief. So na pia kuna kale ka conservativeness ka kutaka yes, alafu pia hiyo ya kutaka tu anataka wazazi wanaona tufiche white, hii haiwezi blow up on our faces. So hiyo chances are what teen dad atakuwa more present because wako karibu. Lakini hapa Nairobi wewe ulienda ukaangukia kachalika hapa Karen hapa the hub, ama mtu wa Shamahoho alikuwa hapo. So unaona, there's no way teen dad atakuwa present. Ama pia of course ni kaordinary kabisa. Mbogi, as she said, amemwambia by hapana, hiyo sikubali. I think pia your influence, na pia also think a teen dad is not present, is not really ready for settling down. This is a young person, just the same way wewe kama dem, you're a young girl. And I think for men wanakuanga na ile assumption nowadays that madem mko more empowered. And pia kuna ile safety, anajua you will be at home with your parents. Haezi enda kwao waseme ati dad mom niko na mtoi na faith. So itaka funny.
Ama demo alikuwa na date makanga wa Islands. Wakifunga shule wanakujua na manganya, na kuna mtu ataka hapo hata toka mpaka mathri ya chali yake ikamu. Hebu sasa niambie, dem kama huyo, kama unaweza mwambie anything, when ni demo ushago. And then I remember once we had the very first case I saw of abortion. Mi sikuwa najua it was abortion, by the way, because I was a dorm captain. And then I was just called and I was told in one of the cubicles there's somebody who is in so much pain, hajatoka kwa bed since morning. So nikaenda nikajaribu kumuuliza, is there a problem? Should I call the matron? We go to the hospital. Yana niambia tu ni tumbo inamuuma. But you see at that point, uchungu yenye watu wanakuambia ana bleed. Like I was also ignorant. Sikuwa najua, si normal. So jioni ndio kaona I think itakuwa serious. So she called me, akaniambia, no, you can tell the matron we go to the hospital. And as we were waiting for the van to come, you know, she would squat because she was in so much pain. She would squat. Akiinuka, there's like a big clot inaanguka. Still in all that, demo shago mipa ninajua nini inaendelea. I was clueless. So vile tulifika hosi, akainsist anda kuingia kwa daktari peke yake. Ndio vile alienda matron akaniambia huyu ni abortion alifanya. I didn't know. And you see, these are the same girls. Ni wale wa Nairobi. Ilikuwa bolea makanga. Na alitoka na wako achana. And I doubt even this guy maybe hakujua. Because you see, she's handling it vile yeye anajua. It's just something that needs to be constantly addressed. Yeah.
We should discuss about how can we best help these teenage moms? How can we best reduce as a society, all of us? So that is what we should, we can now discuss the way forward. When we are talking, we can talk of how can we prevent? That is one. Or also, how can we make it that, okay, they can also, when you're tired, they are teenage moms. How can we? Because the main aim is to reduce the teenage pregnancy and also try and improve or try to see how best we can help the teenage mothers. So those are two different things that we can do.
The importance of knowing triggers. Unajua kujijua, if you know yourself, alafu unajua kwamba if I am aware of myself, these are my triggers. Najua kwamba maybe this guy, I like him very much. And I understand how I act sa ile niko na yeye. So if I know myself, some of these things azitaenda alafu nijipate kwa oops. Because already I already know myself. Sindio? Yeah. So that self-awareness, I think, is very important.
Okay. Na kuongelea vile tunaweza treat our teenagers mom, like vile Ruth alisema alikuwa anafanyia dreams. I've seen there at home dreams wanasaidianga teenagers mom. So kitu inaweza wasaidia hadi waende in right direction ni kukuwa na organization, kwa na hizo forums, meetings.
Parents play a big role with teenagers, because utapata a teenager kifika hiyo the teenhood is when you want to explore a lot of things. Sasa sema kama mzazi, I'm not saying mtupe too much, wape watoto too much freedom, but let them have some exposure. Usikuwe na hiyo build curiosity. You get it? Unaweza pata ngwai which is weed or party, they may lead to someone being pregnant. Now, how have I gotten to that ngwai? It's because I wanted to experience partying. Because my friends are partying, why shouldn't I be partying? I think parents should waachilie watoto kidogo. Acha niseme tu juu mimi si teenager anymore, but I wish I was one. Yani, yeah. So parents wakupe space ya kugrow up, because when you experience something is when you'll know the goods of it and the bads of it.
Okay, so the solution is, okay, for me I usually see that we usually focus on urban centers. Ni ukweli, like mimi naonanga watoto ushago hawananga watu wa kuongelesha, like sumana huku tuko na organizations like, lakini ushago utapata msichana na mtu wa kumwambia this is what you're supposed to do, you should abstain. Okay, maybe kama wako ni few, but ushago hakuna organization. Maybe hata ushago kukiwa na organization, like hata si lazima iko organization, mnaweza miti chini ya mti au demo ongeleshwe. Yeah, so we should also focus on the rural area. Okay, kitu kingine ni self acceptance, like jikubali. Umoja ukijikubali, cause kuna ule msi anaambiwanga ukipata like negative like thoughts, ama ukipata negative response, like unaambiwa bidhi unajua ukwangi mrembo usijui nini, utajua mimi si mrembo, but nikienda nipate chede na naambia we umeweza nini. So self acceptance, acha mimi kama Grace nijikubali, mimi ni mrembo.
We need to educate ourselves, parents, to understand the today's child. I normally call the today's child the digital child. There are some topics I've been sharing with our teens our teens across Kenya, why it's important to understand your emotion. Also, I'm coming to the issue to do with our teens. You know, there are children, there are teens and youths. And our teens, when they recognize their emotions and learn how to manage those emotions, those are the most important skills a teen can have. And in fact, those who have been able to manage their skills, they have made in life. They make it in life. You know, and also the feelings. Feelings are powerful, and they can become overwhelming at times with our young people, even adults. And to struggle to manage, that's the issue of struggling to manage those feelings. So there used to be moderation. There used to be guidance on how to use them, so that this young person can make what we call informed decisions when they want to explore, to venture, or to try something like sexual relationship, and the dangers and the consequences of involving themselves in such. So we need to have a forum to help our teens and help them to first to know themselves, to know the challenges, to know how to make it in life. The challenges of today, they are technical, very technical, and these kids need to be taken care of. I'm talking as a parent because I have them. And if we don't come on board, or parents, we bury our heads under the sand, then we might lose this important generation, young generation. Example of what happened in Kenya recently, last year. In June, we have the Gen Zs, and we parents, we felt there's something we have not done to guide these young people. They are doing the right thing in the wrong way. And we said they are doing the right thing, but they were doing it in the wrong way because of not being guided as it were. So we parents, we have a lot of work to do with our wonderful children who are well educated, who are digital, and it's a blessing to have such children. It's a blessing to have children who are really well versed and can bring solutions in the hurting world. But they only need to be guided, to be taught, to be instrumental in the society, to make this earth a good place to live in, not getting involved in other matters which can become a challenge, especially early pregnancies, teenage pregnancies. But having said and done, they have gone through that. They are our children. They have our grandchildren. So we have to help them, whether we like it or not, and guide them. And also there's issue to do with these issues also need to be around biblical foundations. Now I'm talking the pastoral perspective. Everything is spiritual. So they need to be guided spiritually, because also the enemy is at work and he wants to destroy our children. So it's a matter of also teaching the word of God for our children to be grounded and to stand firm and thus introducing, not preempting what I was about to talk of today, but foundation is very important. Firm foundation of our children. That's very key. That's my contribution.
I think for now we are not closing, but we are just pausing on this session. We will still continue after baadaye. So in a nutshell, we have said a little bit of how we can actually try to accept. Major nimeona ni most people wameongea about acceptance about our teenage moms. It's a very big challenge, and mostly inatoka from parents. We need to be there for the kids. We need to guide them. We need to create that usikue ule mkali mtoto anaogopa kukuambia kitu. Me, I always say, I always want to be a friend to my kids, so that hata kama kuna ile lazima utakuwa mkali kidogo, but you have to find a way of letting them know that you can still come to me at any point. Ni mimi na wewe. So hiyo inasaidia watoto akuna hiyo assurance, because it starts from the family before it goes to the society. Yeah, so I think parents' guidance I feel like is the foundation of everything.